Hello, yogis. Welcome to this slow flow practice, all about finding balance. Find a comfortable seat. Sit up on anything you need to allow your hips to relax. Elongate the sides of your waist as you draw your shoulders up towards your ears and take them down and back. Floating the tops of your ears back in line with your shoulders. Finding a heaviness from your pelvis down into your sits bones. Yet feeling a lightness through the rest of your upper body. Today is all about finding that balance. Patanjali addresses asana in only 3 of his 193 sutras. Sutra 2.46 sets forth the 2 principles or qualities that define asana or poses. Sthira, sukham, asanam. Sthira means alert and stable. Sukha means relaxation and ease. Asana becomes yoga when we experience the union of alert stability and relaxed ease. Just finding your breath here, settling in even more onto your mat. Floating the palms of your hands together at your heart center. Gently lower your chin towards your chest, honoring your inner teacher and listening to the inner guides that you have brought with you today. Slowly and mindfully making your way onto all fours to tabletop pose, lining up your shoulders with your wrists. Your hips are gently stacked over your knees and your toes tucked under. Begin to flow through a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhaling as you come into cow pose, tilting the tailbone up, taking your gaze forward. And as you exhale, draw the belly in towards your spine, rounding. Just allow your body to flow through these 2 poses with intention, with breath. Just feeling this beautiful awakening of your spine. Extending your left leg back behind you, gently place your toes on the floor. Lean back, stretching out your calf. Coming back to neutral and then extending the opposite leg behind you. Lean back into the toes once again and just feel this wonderful opening through the calf muscle. And back to neutral. Lifting your right leg up into the air, leveling out your hips, extending the opposite arm, coming into songbird pose. Feel the core fire up here. And come back down to tabletop. And switch sides, so leg lifts first. And then opposite arm gently lifts, lifting the bicep in line with your ear. Feel this extension from the toes and out the fingertips. Slowly coming back to tabletop. Nice. Make any movements you need here, yogis, whether it's shifting hips side to side or going into marauding bear, so shifting your hips over to one side, circling back towards the heels. Just listen to what your body needs today. Just work out any of those kinks or tightness that you're feeling. Coming back to neutral, back to tabletop. Walking your hands forward about 5 or 6 inches, rooting down into your fingertips as you allow your hips to float back towards the heels. Coming to puppy pose. Draw your front ribs into your back as your toes are tucked under. On your next inhale breath, lift your hips slowly up towards the sky. Coming into downward facing dog. So first dog of your class, be gentle. Bend into your knees, tilt your pelvis back, shining your sits bones back behind you. Lifting the front of your body into your back as you lengthen through the sides of your waistline. Just notice what you feel here. Good. Couple more deep breaths. Bend into your knees, take your gaze forward and take some small steps to the top of your mat, coming into your first fold of class. So if you have some blocks, you might need them under your hands, or maybe you can make your way right down to the floor, but make sure that your hips are in line with your ankles and you allow yourself to relax. Lift halfway into Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale into Uttanasana, forward fold. Once again, pulsing through Ardha and exhaling into Uttanasana. Good. A couple more times here. Feel that length and opening in the spine. Releasing the crown of your head each time you fold. Hands on your hips. Shoulder blades toward each other, root down into the mat as you float your head up towards the sky, coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Drawing your shoulders up, widen back a few times. Just lining everything up here. Noticing your feet root right down into the floor. Notice the strength, sthira, in your lower body. Your upper body floats as your hands reach up and float down to your heart center. A few more times there. Circle the arms up and out to the side. Palms gently touch and float down to your heart. Good. Draw in all that beautiful oxygen. Exhale, fold forward, either swan dive or prayer fold into Uttanasana once again. And halfway lift. Folding forward, and as you continue to exhale, step your right foot behind you. Lower down to your back knee. And scissor your hips as you float your hands up to your front thigh. Feel a rooting down of your front foot. Lift your arms up overhead, drawing the shoulder blades toward each other. Coming into Anjaneyasana Asana or low lunge. Hands float down either side of the front foot. Lift your back knee. Big step forward to forward fold. Good. Lifting halfway here, feel that extension, decompression in the spine, and fold forward and step your left foot behind you. Coming into low lunge, other side, scissor the hips here, float your arms up right overhead, rooting down into the front foot. Yeah, feel strong here in this pose, yet soft and gentle. Frame up your front foot with your hands, lift your back knee, and scooch that front foot back behind you, coming into plank. Lower down to the mat, Chaturanga. And coming into baby cobra a few times on your breath. Opening up the heart, feeling the back body working. Energetically drawing the hands back as you lift your heart forward each time. And pushing up to plank once again and downward facing dog. So as you're here, walk out your dog. Do whatever movement feels good in your body. Just breathe through it. Notice your body and the movement. Take your gaze forward, walk or step to the top of your mat into your fold. Halfway lift and fold once again. Root to rise, lifting those arms up overhead, stretching through the entire body. Float your hands to your heart. And back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Notice how you feel. Lifting your arms up overhead once again. Grabbing onto your right wrist, lifting through the right side of your body and tip over to the left. Feel an opening through the rib cage. Inhale back to center. Line up your spine again, Urdhva Hastasana. Grab onto the left wrist and tip over to the right. Root down through both feet equally. Back to center here, Urdhva Hastasana. Take a deep breath, prayer fold or swan dive forward into your fold once again. Lifting halfway, extend your spine long. Exhale and fold. Stepping your right foot behind you, lower to your back knee. And once again, sweeping your arms up overhead into low lunge. Feel the strength in your legs to keep you stable and grounded. Grabbing onto the right wrist, tip over to the left. Good, and come back to center. Frame up your front leg with your hands. Lift the back knee and step forward to forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana once again. And as you exhale, fold and release the crown of your head. Stepping your left foot behind you, lower to the back knee. Sweeping your arms up overhead, root down into that front foot. Feel the stability as you grab your right wrist and tip over to the left. Opening up through the rib cage once again. Good. Frame up your front foot, lift your back knee. Once again, step back into plank pose. Remember, you can lower to your knees, or option is to keep your knees lifted to give you a little bit more of a challenge here. Deep breath in and exhale as you lower with control down to your belly. One cobra pose here, so baby cobra or high cobra, it's up to you. And lowering back down to the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good job, yogis, you've got this. Lifting your right leg. Three-legged dog. So leveling out your hips, lift your leg a little bit higher. And begin to round through the spine, draw your knee in towards your nose, and a big step forward with that right foot in between the hands, lower to the back knee. Coming into funky lunge, so walking towards the left side of your mat, pivot around on your back knee, so your shin is parallel with the back of your mat. Begin to walk your hands away from you, like you're coming into a downward dog. So that front knee is facing forward, feeling the inner and outer thigh working here. Good. On your next inhale breath, slowly start to walk your hands back towards you. Pivot around on the back knee, back to low lunge. Lift the back knee, step back to plank. Lift the hips to the sky, downward dog once again. Settle in here for a breath. Gently float the left leg into the air, three-legged dog once again. Draw your knee in towards your nose, round through the spine. Use that core to help you step forward into lunge position. Lower your back knee once again. Walk your hands towards the right side of your mat. Pivot around on the back knee. Keep your hands close to you or walk them away from you like you're coming into downward dog with those arms, but keep the engagement in that front thigh so the knee faces right forward. Nice, good job. And slowly and mindfully start to walk your hands back toward you. Square up your shoulders, frame up your foot, pivot around on the back knee, come into lunge, step back to plank, and downward dog once again. Float your left leg into the sky, three-legged dog. Slowly and mindfully, as you inhale, draw your knee in towards your nose. And as you exhale, step that left foot forward or use your hand to bring it forward. Pivot around on the back foot, parallel with the back of your mat. Windmill your arms up to warrior two. So feeling that engagement in the front leg. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Maybe turn your palms up towards the sky. Feel your shoulder blades come toward each other. And then just turn the palms back facing the floor. Good. Reach over the front leg a little here, and as you exhale, come into side angle pose, Parshvottanasana, lengthening through the sides of your waist. Beautiful. Maybe you have a block handy here, coming deeper into this pose. And then begin to straighten out your front leg. Good. Float your top hand to your hip. And set your block under your hand in line with your shoulder. Draw the top shoulder up towards your ear. Take it out wide and back. Open your heart forward and then float the top hand towards the sky. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Noticing your hamstring, it should be singing to you here. If you tend to hyperextend in that front knee, maybe draw the toes up towards the shin, root down into the big toe mound. Top hand floats down to your hip, bend into your front knee. Take your hand to the outside corner of your mat as you float the opposite leg up towards the sky, coming into half moon pose. Ardha Chandrasana. Nice, really float that top leg up towards the sky. Top hand reaches up. Really feel the strength in your supporting leg. Top hand floats to the hip. Level out the hips and lower yourself back into forward fold. Lift halfway. And as you exhale, fold once again. Root to rise on your next inhale breath. As you exhale, hands together through your heart center. Hold here for a breath or two. Settle in and see how you're feeling. Nice. So just take a moment here, maybe a drink of water, adjust anywhere you need to. Lift your arms back up towards the sky. Swan dive or prayer fold forward into forward fold or Uttanasana. Lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, fold. Nice. So stepping your right leg behind you. Left leg follows, plank pose. And with your next exhale breath, float your hips up into downward facing dog once again. Take a few breaths here and notice. Lengthening through the sides of your waist, lifting your front body into your back body. Right leg floats up into the sky, three-legged dog. Good. Start to round through your spine, draw your knee in towards your nose and step through between your hands. Big step. Nice. Good. Pivot the back foot around parallel to the back of your mat. Windmill your arms up and out to the side. Back into warrior two. Right leg is forward. Again, set your shoulder blades toward each other by turning your palms up and then placing them back facing towards the floor. Just keep that engagement of the shoulder blades coming toward each other. Back into side angle pose here, so you can gently float your front forearm on your front thigh, floating the top hand up towards the sky. Or maybe you want to deepen this more by lowering your right hand towards the mat. Keep your shoulders stacked here, yogis. You've got this. Nice. Take your arms up and out to the side. Hands come to your hips. Straighten out your front leg. And maybe shorten up the stance. And then float your arms up and out to the side once again. Reach over your front leg. Send your hip going backwards. Coming into Trikonasana, just done it a different way this time. So you can grab that block again, stack it underneath your shoulder, and it helps you lean back a little bit in this pose. Trikonasana. Feel your hamstrings working here and opening up. One more breath. Float your top hand to your hip. Take your gaze to the top corner of your mat. Bend into that front leg and float the left leg up, parallel to the floor. Really strong in your lower body, rooting down as you float your top hand up towards the sky, opening up those fingers like rays of sunshine. Half moon. Remember to breathe. Square up your hips, float your upper leg down with your other leg, coming into forward fold. Lifting halfway here, really feel an extension. And as you exhale, fold and release the crown of your head. Good. Lift halfway again, resetting the spine. And as you exhale, fold forward. Good. One more time, Ardha Uttanasana. And release the crown of your head, coming into your fold. Stepping one foot back at a time, plank pose here. To feel both hands rooting into the mat, feel the strength in your body, sthira. Yet soften through the face. Soften your knees towards the ground, lower down. Have a seat on your mat. Bending the knees, placing your feet on your mat. And just gently place your hands on your kneecaps as you float back and forth between sitting up on your sits bones and rolling back onto your tailbone. Notice those two different places in your body. So sits bones, tailbone, sits bones, tailbone, and then find that place in between sits bones and tailbone, that base. Reach your arms forward, but plug your humerus bones into your shoulder socket. Draw your front ribs into your back. Engage your core. Lift one foot. Good. Lower it. Lift the other. Lower it. Start to feel your core fire up here. Just kind of prepping ourselves to come into boat pose. So it's nice to lift one leg at a time, and you kind of get that feeling in your mind what's coming up next. So lifting both legs up, drawing your front ribs into your back. Really feel your core fire up here, everyone. Breathe. Try not to hold your breath. Good. And then lower your feet down to the floor. Hug your knees into your chest. Nice little rounding through your spine. Give yourself a hug for that. Job well done. It's not an easy pose, so good job. Slowly make your way down to your mat. So laying down and drawing your knees in towards your chest. Nice. Both hands go onto your left knee, or your right knee, sorry. Your left leg extends out straight. So hands on your right knee, your left leg goes out straight. Just feel an opening through the front of your quadricep of the straight leg. Flex the foot, draw the ankle to midline. Slowly start to bend the extended leg. Place your foot on your mat. And then cross the opposite ankle over your knee. So you can stay here in Foursquare if that works for your body, or if you want to become deeper into this pose, start to draw both knees in towards your chest, placing your hands on your shin or your hamstring. Send your breath into wherever you're feeling this. Supine pigeon. Uncrossing your leg and extending that leg all the way down to the floor. Keep drawing the opposite knee in towards the chest as you extend the other leg straight. And then begin to bend the knee once again and cross the opposite ankle over your thigh. So Foursquare should be the other side now. So take whatever option you chose on the other side. Equal things out. One more breath. And then slowly and mindfully begin to uncross your leg. And draw both knees in towards your chest. Whenever you're ready. Nice. So just coming into a twist here for our spine. So knees are 90 degrees, your hip joint is at 90 degrees after you do a nice little massage into your back. All right. Just give yourself a little bit of love here before we come into our twist. Taking your arms out to the side, either spread right out or cactus arms. Energetically lengthen your spine here, and as you exhale, spinal twist over to the right with control. And just tuck your chin over towards the left if that's comfortable for your neck. Surrender into the ground and soften. Finding this feeling of sukha in your body, easefulness. Bringing your head slowly back to center. Good. And find your core firing up here as you prepare yourself to lift your knees back up to center. Again, lengthen through your spine energetically. Fire up that core, and as you exhale, twist over to the left. And if you choose, you can tuck your chin in the opposite direction. Just honor your neck, whatever's going on there. And find that place of softening, of letting go. Gently float your head back to center. And lift your knees back up to neutral. Good job. Tuck your knees in towards your chest and wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a nice big hug here. Coming into our final pose before Shavasana, Ananda Balasana, Happy Baby. Grabbing the outsides of your feet and draw your knees towards the ground. Your femurs become parallel with the mat or the floor. Pushing your hands into your feet into your hands. And just feel this opening through the hips. It's how good this inversion feels. It's one of my favorite. You can be playful here. You can rock side to side if you like. You can even bend one leg at a time. Just do what feels good in your body. Just remember how playful babies can be when they find their feet. Kind of head to that feeling of just playfulness, this easefulness. Nice. So releasing your feet slowly, draw your knees back in towards your chest and giving yourself one final well-deserved hug. Maybe even float your head up towards your knees. Begin to lower one arm at a time down to the floor, opening your palms up towards the sky. One leg at a time floats down to the earth. Remember to cover yourself up with a blanket if you're chilly. Just find this place of total easefulness, this surrender. As the back of your body becomes very heavy. Stira. Find this relaxation and ease in the front of your body. Sukham. Soften every cell of your body. And begin to slowly deepen your breath. Start to notice the beautiful space around you. can start to make small movements with your fingers, your toes. And maybe you like to come into a nice full body stretch by reaching your arms overhead. As you start to bend one knee at a time, begin to make your way over to your right side. Coming into fetal position. Notice the magic here from your practice. And at your own pace, yogis, you can start to make your way back up to your seat, the seat of the yogi. Gently resting your hands on your lap. Just taking note of how you feel. On your next inhale breath, float your hands together at your heart center, an Anjali Mudra. Tuck your chin towards your chest, gazing down at your fingers through your eyelids. May you find strength and softness in your life. May you find balance. The light in me honors the bright, sunshiny light in you. Namaste.